Hey guys, we are in Chapter 2, Adoption and the Brain. Brain research is in its infancy, but already it is adding scientific validity. Oh my god, I don't know. Validation, basically, to aspects of human development that many of us who deal with human emotions for a profession have intuited for a long time. After birth, our brains are wired in large parts as a result of our experiences and the meaning we place on these experiences. When this meaning is predicated upon a perception introduced during the stage of primary narcissism in infancy, it follows that the person responsible for one's experience and the results thereof must be oneself. Even after infancy, children usually blame themselves for all the things that happen to them during the earliest stages of development. This, of course, helps explain why so many adoptees blame themselves for their own relinquishment. Even when they know this can't be true, they still feel as if it is true. They believe it to be true. This early belief leaves them that the sense that they are not good enough, unlovable, unworthy, because this belief was ingrained during a traumatic event. And when so many neurons were firing, the imprinted belief is very difficult to change. Let us see why this is so. All right, so before we move on to the next part, which we'll get to in a couple days, here's my commentary on this. So with trauma, right, we typically, as people, compare our pre-trauma selves to our post-trauma selves. The problem with adoption, at least for so many of us, right, those of us that are domestic infant or infant adoptees, not necessarily domestic, but those that were adopted at birth, is we don't have that pre-trauma self. We have nothing to compare it to. And that is why it's so difficult for so many of us to heal. Now, it is possible, but it's difficult. And that's why it's important to remember that when we're born and we're going through this, our brains are instantly rewired, right? And we have nothing to compare it to. And even if you're working on healing yourself, even if you're, going through therapy and doing the best that you can, even I, as someone who's lived 32 plus years of life, trying to work through things, right? Being out of the fog and, like I said, therapy, reunion, all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you're not going to still have your moments, right? So like when we talk about PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, you're still going to have those triggers, right? That trigger may lessen, right? So think of a war veteran, right? When they come back, it could be things as a car backfiring. It could be fireworks. It could be just, construction even. And it triggers a moment, right? And as you work through it, it's going to lessen and lessen, right? So maybe it'll come to a day. Maybe it'll be a friend, right? Seeing a picture of a friend or something of that sort. It doesn't mean it's not still there. It's just that you've been working through it to lessen it. And I want you guys to remember that it's going to be okay, and that, no matter our stories, no matter what we've been through, we can do this. We can do this together. We can do this individually. There are ways to help. Anyway, I will see you guys next time for the development of the brain. And we are rolling right through this book.